From the windswept plains of Central Asia, where the horizon seems endless and the grass bends like waves before the wind, emerged a people who would forever alter the course of human history. This is the story of the Mongol Empire, the largest contiguous land empire the world has ever known. It rose with lightning speed, shook entire civilizations to their core, and yet within a century fractured and faded into memory. To understand the rise of the Mongols, we must first understand their world. The Mongol steppe was a harsh, unforgiving environment. Life was shaped by endless migration, bitter winters, and a constant struggle for survival. Communities lived in yurts, surviving on herding and hunting. Horses were more than animals. They were the very lifeblood of Mongol culture, providing mobility, sustenance, and a decisive advantage in warfare. Yet for centuries, Mongol tribes were divided, often locked in fierce rivalry with one another. Out of this fractured world rose a leader destined to unite them all, Temujin, later known as Genghis Khan. Temujin's early life was marked by hardship. His father was poisoned by rivals, leaving his family vulnerable and cast out from their tribe. He grew up in poverty, constantly facing betrayal and danger. But Temujin learned resilience, forging alliances, and building loyalty among those who followed him. Unlike many tribal leaders, he rewarded merit over noble birth, creating a new form of leadership that elevated the strongest and most loyal rather than the most well-connected. By 1206, after years of brutal conflict and shifting allegiances, Temujin united the Mongol tribes. In a grand council, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, universal ruler. With the tribes finally united, he turned his ambition outward toward conquest. The Mongols swept across Asia with terrifying speed. Their armies were unlike anything the settled civilizations had ever seen. Each warrior carried multiple horses, enabling them to ride for days without rest. Their composite bows could pierce armor at remarkable distances. Most devastating of all was their discipline. The Mongol army operated with near-perfect coordination, using smoke, flags, and drums to command troops across vast battlefields. At first, neighboring kingdoms dismissed them as raiders, but one by one, great cities fell. The Tangut Kingdom of Western Xia, the mighty Jin dynasty of northern China, and the Khwarezmian Empire in Persia all crumbled before the Mongol onslaught. Cities that resisted were often annihilated, their populations massacred as a warning to others. Yet those who submitted were often spared and integrated into the empire. The Mongols did not merely destroy, they also built. Genghis Khan understood the value of trade, communication, and technology. Under his rule, the Silk Road flourished like never before. Merchants could travel from China to Europe under the protection of Mongol law. Messages could cross thousands of kilometers thanks to the Yam, a relay system of mounted couriers. Ideas, goods, and even diseases traveled across continents under Mongol rule. After Genghis Khan's death in 1227, his successors expanded the empire even further. His grandson Kublai Khan conquered all of China, founding the Yuan dynasty and ruling from the city we know today as Beijing. Another grandson, Hulagu Khan, stormed into the Middle East, capturing Baghdad in 1258 and bringing an end to the Abbasid Caliphate. A shock to the Islamic world. At its height, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the heart of Europe, encompassing more than one-fifth of the Earth's landmass. No empire before or since has controlled such a vast continuous territory. Yet even the mightiest empires carry within them the seeds of their own decline. The Mongols faced a challenge that has undone countless conquerors: overextension. Their empire was simply too vast to govern as a single entity. After the death of Genghis Khan's descendants, unity fractured. The empire split into four major khanates: the Yuan dynasty in China, the Ilkhanate in Persia, the Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, and the Golden Horde in Russia and Eastern Europe. Each khanate developed its own character, adopting local customs and often clashing with one another. Over time, the Mongols in Persia converted to Islam, while those in China embraced Chinese traditions. What had once been a unified force began to dissolve into regional powers. By the 14th century, the empire that once terrified the world was in retreat. The Yuan dynasty was overthrown by Chinese rebels. The Golden Horde fragmented under pressure from rising powers like Moscow. The Ilkhanate collapsed into warring factions. The legacy of Genghis Khan's empire had been reduced to memory and legend. And yet, the Mongols left a mark that endures to this day. They connected East and West in ways no other empire had before. They facilitated the exchange of technologies like gunpowder, printing, and the compass. They reshaped the political map of Eurasia, paving the way for new powers to rise. Even the fear of their invasions forced kingdoms to adapt, reorganize, and strengthen. Today, the Mongol Empire stands as both a warning and a lesson. It reminds us of the extraordinary power of unity, discipline, and ambition, but also of the dangers of overreach, division, and assimilation. In just over a century, the Mongols transformed from scattered nomads into rulers of the known world. And then, as swiftly as they rose, they fell back into the shadows of history. The grasslands remain, the winds still blow across the steppe, and in the silence one might almost hear the thunder of hooves, echoing from a time when the Mongols rode forth and changed the world forever. If you enjoyed learning about the rise and fall of the Mongol Empire, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more history explained, and share it with someone who loves the past as much as you do.